Hey, this is part 3 of a 3-part video series. All 3 parts are uploaded and the links are in the description. Part 3. Potential Fire Emblem Newcomers. I have no idea what new ones there will be. There are already too many. But here are what I think are some of the most likely ones. Also, I wrote this part of the video months ago, so if you've seen anyone else's speculation videos, then get ready for a lot of overlap, because I'm not changing my list. I won't be looking at any characters who are on any sort of mount, since their dimensions won't really fit Smash Brothers, and only looking at main characters, since they're the only ones that got added. These are all characters I would love to see in the game, however, warning, when I talk about their chances, probably won't be very positive. Fire Emblem 16 protagonist. If another Fire Emblem character were to be added, it would most likely be one of the protagonists from Fire Emblem 16. Smash Bros. Has twice previously added the main character of the FE game that's about to come out, so I wouldn't be surprised if it happened again. Fire Emblem 16 is allegedly currently in development, so that character has a pretty good chance of being added, especially characters on foot and or female and or doesn't have blue hair and or doesn't just use a sword. Lyn. Lyn is probably the most widely liked Fire Emblem character who isn't playable in Smash Brothers, and she's been an assist trophy in both Brawl and Smash 4, while Little Mac has been upgraded from assist to playable, and Charizard got upgraded from Pokeball to character. I really don't think that's telling of whether or not it'll happen again. However, a lot of people think she's a shoo-in for Smash for Switch, given that she also uses a bow and could have a very unique fighting style with Fox levels of speed. In her GBA battle animation, she would disappear or reappear and clone herself like Doctor Strange. Infinity War spoilers! People also like her for another reason. In terms of likelihood, there's already plenty of sword characters in Smash Bros, and while she's in Heroes 5 fucking times, the Fire Emblem heroes have too much Lyn. Yes, God, yes! Why are there so many duplicates when there are so many great characters that aren't in the game yet? Where's Har? And she even made it to Warriors, even though that game likes to pretend that Awakening and Fates are the only FE games to have ever existed. The Fire Emblem Warriors have too much Awakening and Fates. Yes! God, yes! How did you fuck this up? With Hyrule Warriors, you got someone from almost every Zelda game, fuck you Oracle fans, but in Fire Emblem Warriors, you got most of the roster and the DLC from 3 games out of 15? And those are the 3 worst games in the series? Heroes and Warriors are both just spin-off games, so Lyn has only canonically appeared in 1 game that came out in 2003. 2 if you count Awakening Spot Pass and DLC, but basically everyone was in that game, so that's not really a point in her favor. And I don't count Fire Emblem 6 because, even though she's a potential mother for a couple of the playable characters, she isn't directly talked about or referenced in the actual game, which makes sense because she probably didn't exist at the time they made the game. Also, her being an assist trophy is as much of a boon as it is a detriment to her chances, since if she were to make the switch over and become playable, they'd have to create a new assist trophy to replace her. I personally think this is a great idea, since it would be a chance for a character class that's not playable in Smash due to their dimensions, like a Paladin, Pegasus Knight, Wyvern Rider, to appear on the battlefield. I don't know how likely it is that the dev team would purposely create extra work for themselves just to make playable, especially when they tend to put in newcomers from more recent games, not from a single Game Boy Advance game that came out 15 years ago, RIP Isaac from Golden Sun. Plus, Martha and Lucina are already pretty fast characters in Smash Brothers, covering that niche. My final verdict for Lyn: she'll most likely stay an assist trophy. If she's an assist trophy in the base game, then it will be impossible for her to become playable. If she's neither an assist nor playable, then it would be possible for her to be added as DLC, either later down the line if Blazing Sword gets remade within the next year or 2, or if she gets voted in via another Smash ballot, if that happens at all. Hector! Hector the Rector, another main character in the same game as Lyn, Fire Emblem 7, and also made a cameo in Fire Emblem 6. where he dies a very gruesome death at the beginning of the game. Which I must say, if this game gets remade, there better be a sweet animated cutscene where he takes out 5 dragons solo, but then gets killed by the 6th, something along those lines. Hashtag justice for Hector. While he can use a sword, Hector primarily uses an axe, which is a weapon not represented in Smash Bros. By anyone. In fact, his axe is also known as the Thunder Axe, and while it doesn't do this in FE7, it could give it some cool lightning powers in Smash Bros. Like Thor. Infinity War spoilers! In addition, Hector is really slow, but really powerful, and a very popular character due to his charisma in Fire Emblem 7, and his top tier utility in Fire Emblem Heroes. You could also do the Hector Copter for a recovery move. In terms of his chances, a lot of what I said about Lyn also applies to Hector. A playable character in one game that came out 15 years ago is just not as likely as a more current character. Ike is already covering this slow but powerful niche in terms of Fire Emblem characters. While a lightning axe would be fun to use, an electrical melee weapon that you swing around sounds a lot like the Levin sword, which Robin already has. Final verdict, an unfortunate amount of unlikely. Ephraim, Ephraim, I don't know, man. One of the twins from Fire Emblem 8, The Sacred Stones, which is a game not represented in Smash Bros. He has been an increasingly popular character as of recent. He is disgustingly good with a lance, which is another weapon not in Smash Bros. Final verdict, other than his weapon, he's not super unique. Like Lyn and Hector, his chances are pretty slim unless Fire Emblem 8 is remade in the very near future, in which case he could be added as DLC potentially. However, something I said in part 2 of this series, if Lucina is given a lance for some of her moves, or if fucking Bandana D becomes playable, his chances are even slimmer. I do think that Fire Emblem 8 has a pretty good chance of being remade, since besides 2/15, its story is the only standalone one. It plays pretty similarly to the 3 most recent FE games, since it has an explorable world map and the option to level grind, but we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Celica. One of the protagonists of Fire Emblem 15 echoes Shadow of Valentia, which at time of recording is the most recent FE game, and is also a remake of Fire Emblem 2, so she's representative of both old school and new school Fire Emblem. She's unique in that she's a girl, doesn't have blue hair, uses both swords and magic, and makes terrible decisions at the end of her game, and trusts clearly evil people. While I think Celica could be a unique addition, the fact that she uses both swords and magic sounds a lot like Robin. And while I think it's possible she could fill in Robin's moveset, I think that if she were added, it's more likely she would be an alternate costume for Robin, like Alf is for Olimar, and they could just give her the lightning sword from Echoes, which could be traded over to her via the merchants. Final verdict, female Robin will have a palette swap that has red hair and a white outfit, but will still look like Robin, but they'll say is a reference to Celica. Black Knight. Final pick for today is the Black Knight from Fire Emblems 9 and 10, the same game as Ike. He's a mysterious character, unless you've played Spoiler Emblem Heroes, encased head to toe in black armor and uses the blessed sword Alendite. He's Ike's rival in both games, the Gary Oak to his Trash Ketchum. Except he kills a bunch of people. The Black Knight could be a cool addition. He's visually stunning, and in Fire Emblem, he has some skills exclusive to himself, including a move that literally no character in the game can survive, not even the final boss, I'm pretty sure. However, he's just too similar to Ike. He could be very slow and powerful, but Ike already basically is that. In fact, their stat distribution is pretty similar in Fire Emblem. They basically use the exact same sword. They even learned from the exact same sword teacher, being Ike's father. Final verdict. Very unlikely because he's similar to Ike. He could be a costume for Ike. It would look kinda weird seeing him run and flip around in all that armor. He's too similar to be his own character, but not similar enough to be an alternate costume. He'll most likely stay the Ike color scheme that he already is, as well as the Mii fighter costume.
What's in the crib, ma? Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. Drop it like it's hot. When the pigs try to get at you, park it like it's hot.